To start, I'm 46, female, married, and have 3 kids. 10 years ago, we came into money, a lot of money. I worked hard in my specific field, which earns a lot. I've done some smart investments, and they've paid off. I've been steadily adding to my bank account for these years. My husband considers this my money. We don't have a prenup, hence I will take it as it's mine. When the first payload came in, I did what my husband and I always discussed if we would have the money. Mortgage paid off. I bought a new car, and I managed to buy a nice house in our favorite holiday destination. We rent this one to a very nice family for most of the year. We set up college funds for our children, each an equal amount, which should be enough to pay for 5 years. If there's any money left from the fund, the children can use this as a down payment on their own house or apartment. When the money kept coming in, thanks to my investments and my work, I looked towards what could be done for my immediate family. My husband has 2 sisters. We have 5 nieces and nephews on his side from one of the sisters. My brother has 2 children as well. It was decided that all of the nieces and nephews would have college funds as well, for the same amount as my children under the same strict stipulations. I would get the information about the cost and make sure everything's paid. My eldest niece had already started college, so I paid the amount already paid to her parents to keep everything fair. She managed to finish within the 4 years and has some money left. I had an accountant, which is my dear friend, find out what would be beneficial to my brother and one of the sister-in-laws regarding to their mortgage. I paid off the majority of both of them. My parents were then sent on a very nice trip, since their house is already paid off, and for both my in-laws and other sister-in-law, I paid their rent, so I paid a certain amount so they can save that money. Part of the money goes to charity at home and abroad. I also set up some college funds for the children of our closest friends and family members. As a treat, hubby, little one, and I went on a paid-by-us/me vacation with both my extended family and his. Now, at this point, everyone's grateful. However, one of the sister-in-laws always has a need to be in the spotlight, or that one of all of her children need to be. She's nice to my face, but I know for a fact that she's been bad-mouthing me, makes passive-aggressive remarks about me and my work and my person, but always in such a manner that would be like an a-hole way, if you would say something. My usual tactic, and the one that works, is always to play innocent and dumb, and nitpick on what she says. I've managed to shut her up many times without being classified as a jerk. So the past few years, sister-in-law had been hinting that I should pay for a very nice all-inclusive resort holiday for her and her family abroad. You know, since I have the money. Side note, they have money saved that would initially been used for college funds of their children. Money that has barely been used. Well, COVID hit, and she has been silent. She and her husband took and still take it very seriously, though. Now that the restrictions are mostly lifted, and she had a birthday party for her and her son, since her son really wanted the party. No biggie, we show up with a gift for her and her son, and all is well. Birthday boy got a voucher to buy a tent, or the camping gear he always wanted. Sister-in-law got a voucher to use whatever way she wanted. I added some sunscreen, drinks, and such, as I knew she wanted to go on a holiday of some sorts. Or so we thought. She asked what our holiday plans are. We say that we won't be crossing any foreign borders, stay in home country, but we booked a cabin somewhere for a week. Very nice, not luxurious or anything. We would still need to cook and do the grocery shopping. Sister-in-law starts the, "Oh, how nice. We're still thinking about what we want to do." My lovely hubby and I are both having an inkling what she's hinting at, but we start spouting ideas in the hopes of avoiding tragedy. We have family at one place. Maybe they could stay there for a weekend or so. There's a campsite somewhere else with entertainment for children of various ages. Then it comes. She shows us something she found on the World Wide Web, and to be honest, it looks amazing. Not too luxurious, but still very nice. All-inclusive water park for the kids, spa center, the whole shebang. Price tag for a family of 7? $35,000. So hubby says that's a lot, but is glad they saved so much to do this. Sister-in-law then goes, "Oh, we don't. We thought you would be paying as my birthday gift." Say what? People, she just told us what she was looking at. No, scratch that. She expected me to give about $35,000 as a gift for her birthday just because I have the money? She goes on that I earn enough and their family, our godson, other nieces and nephews have been promised already and so forth. We all sat stunned in silence. Birthday boy and two of his sisters even looked up to see what we would say while playing with our little ones. Hubby just started laughing, thinking it was a joke. Father-in-law just sat there and looked on, and I did a seemingly very good impression of a fish. No, sister-in-law was dead serious. You have the money, you can just give it, you won't miss it. This woman has shown her disdain for me and my work many times in a very sweet passive-aggressive tone, so that it's hard to call her out on it. Me, hubby, and even her father still have done so. I just sat there and listened how she widened her eyes, trying to look sweet, something she does every time she wanted something, and give all the reasons why we should give the money without actually counting the voucher we gave her. I then regained my wits and just say the full sentence she did not want to hear. No. Then the conversation went as followed. But you have the money. Yeah, I have money, that's true. So you can pay for it? I could indeed. Oh, that's great. But I won't. But, we deserve it. You won't miss it. We're family. Yeah, we're indeed family. Fact, we all deserve a nice holiday after all the fluff show called COVID. False. I would surely miss it since it won't be in the bank account. Sister-in-law and brother-in-law continue to rant about how much they think I should pay for it. Listen. You've shown many times you don't not respect me or my line of work. You do not respect the fact that I worked very hard, made sacrifices to earn this money. You do not respect the fact that I've paid off your mortgage, paid for the college education of your children, and even some money for their own place. You badmouth me, call me names, and even told people hubby should divorce me. Sister-in-law's trying to deny it, brother-in-law calls me a liar. Father-in-law joins in and sides with me. Her own children tell their father that they've heard their own mother say horrible things about me. Birthday boy even recorded one conversation she had with someone while she was making a TikTok video. He showed this, and brother-in-law went mute. Conversation continues with sister-in-law. Fine, then don't pay for this holiday. The least you can do is pay for our plane tickets and let us stay at your holiday home, favorite little holiday destination. Remember, I rented out to a local family for most of the year due to COVID. They have to stay there as they can't and aren't going to travel. I say it's not happening. First of all, the family can't leave. Second, you don't get to make demands. The voucher you got has a very generous amount of money on it for you to use whatever way you please. Maybe towards a holiday. Third, we already went on a paid by us/me holiday, so you got a paid for holiday already. And fourth, if you want more money, then get a job that will pay more. You have a degree. Last, you treat me like crap and still expect me to just hand over my hard-earned money? Sister-in-law starts the waterworks and turns to her father, who completely sided with me. He told her he understood me. He told her he knew how hard I worked and the sacrifices me and husband made for this. Hubby is pissed. He sees red and tells his sister in no uncertain terms that this won't be happening and how dare they. He tells her that we're leaving, we pack up the kids and we go. Later, we get a call. Mother-in-law has FM tendencies, as their sister-in-law's her favorite. She tried the whole spiel on how hard they had it before I came into money and helped them, etc. Hubby dealt with her perfectly, and she understood after a lengthy conversation. Now, here's where I just laugh. Apparently, sister-in-law's kids are mad that she pulled this stunt and went full rebel mode. We have a great relationship and seemed afraid that this would influence it. They managed to come by, and we had a heart-to-heart. I told them we didn't blame them for the actions of their parents. I explained to them the reasons for not handing out money like that after the initial gifts. The youngest seemed to side more with mom and dad, but the rest said they understand. They know about their generous college and home funds. I stated to them that we would not want for them to do anything against their parents as they still live there. They stayed for dinner and then went home. As of now, the kids are barely talking to their parents. They still do their chores, let them know things, but that's it. FM, in the form of other family members, came in as sister-in-law had sent the messages and called them. A simple Facebook post by Birthday Boy, with the video put a stop to that. Sister-in-law and brother-in-law had an enormous backlash by the FM, calling them out. They've been uninvited to certain events. We've received apologies from the FM. Some told me they had a hard time as they understood both her and me. The only thing that bothers me is the fact that my PIL are caught in the middle, especially my mother-in-law, who's very family-oriented. I know some of you might or will wonder why I just won't give them the money. Well, one of the reasons why is the way that she's treated me. Even before I came into money, another reason is that I simply feel uncomfortable just handing out money. I simply ask you to give your opinion in a kind fashion. Am I the a-hole for not paying? What's up guys, Mr. Reddito here. So this story has multiple parts. We're going to hop into part 2 now. The title is, You Paid for Them, You Pay for Us. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't done so, just so you don't miss any future updates on this story, because let me tell you right now, the sister-in-law's not done demanding. Let's see what's going on. Hey guys, I was the one whose sister-in-law demanded that I pay for a holiday. Here's part 2. So sister-in-law was very disappointed and angry that I did not bow down to her every whim, and paid for the holiday. For those who read my first post know that I'm well off, thanks to hard work and, well, some luck. We had some FMs, flying monkeys, come in because of my sister-in-law. Most backed down and underrated where we stood and left us alone. Unfortunately, the whole family of my dear husband now knows that we have a bank account with money on it. Our sister-in-law had called a lot of family members to complain and spill the beans. They began talking amongst themselves and their children. Some of the aunts, uncles, and cousins did not think it fair that I paid for some college funds for some children, or that I paid for a family holiday. To note, I only have college funds for the children of cousins who we have a close relationship with. That's about 6 cousins with around 12 kids. I'm in this family for almost 20 years, and I only see the majority of the aunts and uncles and cousins on the yearly, bi-yearly family reunion, if everybody comes. I haven't seen one of them in around 5 to 10 years. A couple of days after the fallout with sister-in-law, an aunt and uncle call, something they never do. I put my phone on speaker as I was busy with folding the laundry. They ask how everything's going, how we're holding up during the COVID and such. We exchange some experiences, and then they both go like this. This is the start of the convo. Uncle and aunt, they say, listen, we hear you have some college funds set up for some of the children of certain cousins, is that true? Yeah, that's true. Alright, is it true that you took mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law 1 and 2, and family with you on holiday? Yeah. Oh, you also have a holiday home, yes? We do, but why do you want or need to know this? We never knew you had so much money. Well, a lot of hard work, sacrifices, dedication, and luck were part of it. Aha! Well, you have to pay for our grandchildren's college fund as well. And when we want to go on a holiday with our children too, we deserve it. We're family, so you have to. You have to pay me. Yes, we want college funds for your 6 grandchildren, each consisting of $800,000 for each child. We want a holiday home like yours, but in a different location. We already have one we want picked out. We'll send you the information, and that also goes for our family holiday. We're family, and since you have the money, you can pay for us too. I'm just sitting there, pissed off in silence. They continue to rant that they deserve it because they're family, and family takes care of each other. My hubby, meanwhile, had heard everything and was getting angrier. I pressed a record button halfway through the convo and asked them to repeat their demands. I eventually asked them if they had more to say, which they hadn't. I just flat out said that it wasn't going to happen, that they might think they're entitled to my money, but they weren't. I quoted the phrase they and many of my family gave us when hubby and I didn't have the money and were in a tight spot because we had a health scare. We asked every family member if we could borrow some money and we could pay it back. Only 3 of the 9 aunts and uncles helped us, and we paid them back. The quote, "It's your responsibility to have and earn enough money for the care, well-being, and education of your family. If you can't, then you don't deserve them. We won't be giving any money." Stunned silence on their side, I told them to relay the message to the rest and not call us with such demands. And I hung up the phone. Hubby was proud of me. In the weeks that followed, the same other aunts, uncles, and cousins called with the same, only those aunts and uncles who helped us in our time of need called and told us to say that it's our money and they've seen plenty of it and don't ask for more. One cousin called and asked for a certified loan for a down payment on a house, something I agreed to. They had the majority saved, but came short of $1,000. They had to pay for it sooner as they could get the house sooner. Just now I saw that I received the first half of it. That also raised hell. Then with the aunts, uncles, and cousins, we had a Zoom call, and I explained to them my reasons for not doing this. I told them that they could always come when they truly needed financial help, but under legal contract so that neither party would feel themselves screwed over. Cousin, who borrowed money, even showed the certified notarized loan. Most seemed to understand, not entirely happy, but they knew they could come for help, but for some it wasn't enough. Then came the cherry on the top. I came home last week on a weekday to find a lot of parked cars in an otherwise almost empty street. I had to pass my house in order to park somewhere else, and around 15 to 20 of aunts, uncles, and cousins had gathered in the front yard. So much for social distancing. Afterwards, it was 3 aunts, 3 uncles, and some cousins and their spouses. I parked the car and walked back home. Now, here's something that a few people know. I have security cameras around my home and record sound as well. Another thing that a few people know, don't mess with me. I'm told that my right hook is very painful, so while walking back, I called the non-emergency line of our local police station. I told them of the situation and telling them that crap might hit the fan. If they could come and assist in case it got out of hand, that would be great. They would send some cops and, well, crap did hit the fan. The moment I stepped inside of people, they started screaming, cursing, telling me to pay up or they'll make sure that I'll pay one way or the other, all the while cornering me. Some of them poked their fingers close to my face and in my chest and arm. I told them multiple times to stop what they were doing and leave. Sometime through this, more cops were called by some neighbors as well, and when they arrived, were trying to get to me. The one uncle made a mistake. He slapped me. A man about 6 foot slapped me, a woman of just 5'2" across the face in full view of the police. Ha! The crowd went silent as he put his face almost in my face and went on a rant that I had to obey him as one of the elders of the family, all while still having his hand raised as he would slap me again. He couldn't continue his rant. I knocked him to the ground. He stayed down, not unconscious but quite rattled and stunned that I punched him. This was apparently what the cops needed as well. The family members were stunned at the cops, who managed for them to get away from me. They were pissed. A couple of aunts, uncles, and cousins managed to make a run to their car and drive away. The rest got met with some very angry cops, some fines for breaking social distancing rules, and the expectation that charges might be pressed against them. So, to shorten the novel already, I'm fine. Had some bruised fingers. Uncle had a broken cheekbone. Of my lovely cameras are now in the hands of the DA. The other family members have distanced themselves from the crap that's happened. To be honest, I feel really crappy. I feel like dividing a family because I don't hand out my money. Hubby says that this is money that I worked hard for, so I get to decide what happens. Still, I'm thinking of setting some college funds aside for the rest of the children. Though, I'm doubting that. It would also seem that I don't stand my ground and can be persuaded with violence. Threats and harassment, I'm so sick of it. What's up guys, Mr. Reddito, and I'm telling you, this story just gets more crazy every sentence. I'm about to read to you now part 3. I hope you're enjoying. If you are, smash that subscribe button and consider dropping a like on the video. I present you part 3. Hey guys, I find it hard to answer all. I still wanted to thank you for the comments and opinions. I'll try to cover everything. I know some people think that this is fake. That's okay, I wish it was. What I want to start with is that this behavior is out of character. This is my hubby's family, and they have always been hardworking themselves. Saved money and family-oriented. They did/do not all have jobs that have earned a lot. Them not loaning money when we needed is because they didn't like loaning money. They were afraid not getting it back as they also needed it. However, the comment that made them hurt. We talked about it at the time, they understood it, and then apologized. Also, hubby and I have strong feelings that blabbermouth sister-in-law has said some things to them for them to go nuts. At the moment, this is just a hunch. We'll see when the time tells us. So for them to pounce on me like this is not normal behavior for them. That doesn't change a thing, though. Since the incident, I've talked to cousins, aunts, and uncles. On advice of my lawyer, I sent an email that I do not want to be contacted by them at this point, as the visitors might face a lawsuit, as does little love tap uncle. I gave them contact information of lawyer if they wish to see or need to speak. I asked them to respect this. I also advised the visitors of little love tap uncle to find a legal advice due to the circumstances. As of now, they respect this, as we have not received calls, texts, and emails. Only one cousin's in contact with hubby. This is the cousin who has the certified loan, and thus we need to be in contact with each other. He told hubby that the visitors and little love tap uncle are very ashamed of themselves, and realize they fluffed up enormously. He's heard some talk about the mediation. Little love tap uncle even cried in front of him. A man who never cries. It seems genuine, but I am cautious. I've read the responses, and I just don't feel guilty anymore. I'm a person who helps when needed, always have. Even when we did not have a lot of money, people were always welcoming to stay for dinner and a night or two to get back on their feet. I've always felt lucky and blessed that I have a roof over my head, 3 square meals a day, and clothes on my back. Hubby and I discussed that we won't be offering any kind of funds for the family members, their grandchildren or children. However, we are open to certified loans like cousin has, but have decided that we won't be sharing this view for now. I'm not going to punish people for the actions of their parents and grandparents. Some people said that I should move and change my number. No, I won't do that. I'm not going to move because of what happened. We live in a safe neighborhood with neighbors who take care of each other. Also, as of now, this is an isolated incident. I did block them on my phone and social media. My number is known to many official authorities, and again, as this is an isolated incident for the time being, I won't. Hubby chose not to block them, and any contact to them has been through him. In case they want to message him and they say things that could be used in court, he wants to keep tabs on them for as far as that is possible. I'm okay with this. All the correspondence have been saved. Lawyer and I have a Zoom call planned for next week. I've let him know what cousin said. He also hopes to have heard something from the DA then. He said that mediation is an option and would not be surprised if the DA would look into this, and if the visitors and little love tap uncle are open for this idea. There might still be legal consequences for them. He has some ideas, but it also depends on the DA and what the visitors and LLTU, little love tap uncle, pleaded. Lawyer did tell me, though, that he had some time to read some of the statements and view parts of the footage. Up until now, their stories are consistent with the footage he's seen. At this point, I want their actions recorded somewhere and have consequences for them. You do not get to threaten me, possibly threaten my family, and harm me without getting your behind kicked at least once. Let them be scared crapless at this point. I could care less because you know what? I'm done. The footage is in the hands of the DA and my lawyer. Also, a neighbor has also recorded what happened, and that's also in the hands of the DA and my lawyer. Neighbor also gave a statement. I've seen the footage saved in other places. You never know, so I saved it literally everywhere I could think to store it. Neighbors know what happened. I sent them flowers and an apology for the disturbance. They do appreciate the gesture. Neighbors are not afraid, thankfully, and have promised to keep an eye on things. I'm telling you guys, my neighbors are really angels. I don't consider myself a hero. I just try to be a decent human being. I don't flaunt the fact we have more money. We live in a normal home, in a normal street. We don't wear expensive clothing or heck, even name brands hardly. The car I bought 10 years ago was brand new then, and the baby's still purring strong. It has some dents and scratches on it, but hey, the baby works. I'm not going to buy a new car if this one's still working perfectly fine just because the paint has a little bit of scratches on it. Simple wear and tear. Same goes for my husband's car. Kids have their own chores and get pocket money, but if they want something extra, they can do extra chores for some extra spending money. They also have to save part of their pocket money. We just want to teach them the value of money. The oldest children already realize that we have filled a bank account, but has also seen what it's cost. The kids want a Switch, which is a gaming system at the moment, so they're saving as much money as they can so they can get that for now. And we'll pay for a certain amount and the rest they have to get themselves. So, we just try to be an average family. I hope I've covered all the comments and questions. If I update again, you will be the first to hear about it. Thanks again for listening. A lot's happened in the past couple months. Due to the fact that it was an enormous amount of text, I cut the updates in more parts. A short summary of the people involved. Visitors, aunts, uncles, and cousins who ambushed me at my home demanding money. Little love tap uncle. Uncle who gave me a slap in the face, and L equals lawyer friend. First, I want to say that I've read your comments. Thanks for taking the time to read my post and comment on it. Also, I had my surgery and I'm recovering, slowly but steadily. Hubby and the kids helped me a lot, bless them. I also read some speculation about the college funds. First of all, where I live, college isn't insanely expensive like in the USA. These funds should have sufficed for community college type education or trade school, making it less expensive than private or top universities. Another point is that the funds only cover a good part of the tuition and books. No rent, extracurricular activities, or living expenses. So it doesn't cost millions, like some people speculated. The mortgages were not entirely paid off either, but I gave sister-in-law and brother-in-law and my brother an amount which helped them a lot. They've paid off the rest themselves. My investments, well, they were done before hubby was in the picture. We're in some companies, technology that's since grown a lot. Not all the investments have paid off, but some certainly did. We count ourselves very lucky. Part of it goes to our retirement funds and to charities at home and abroad. I've asked for investment advice from a professional when I decided to do that. I was about 23 when I did. I also followed some courses on how to invest. Some people ask why I would help a sister-in-law who behaves the way she did. Well, we love her kids, and it was more of them than sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Another reason was that we wanted to keep things fair, if that's possible. I now know that this might not have been the smartest move. The last reason was that if we had seen decent behavior for some time, so we figured that manners have been learned. Now back to the situation with a bit of a backstory. Last time we left off is that a couple of aunts, uncles, and cousins came by for a visit to demand and scream for money. One of the uncles earned the title of Little Love Tap Uncle for the little love tap he gave me. One of my cousins who had a loan has paid everything back. I asked the family not to contact me but to contact my lawyer instead. They've mostly respected that. they did ask for a Zoom call in which they could explain everything. Lawyer, hubby, and I agreed to do so after the court cases would be over with. Also, the $800,000 was a total for all the grandchildren of the remaining family members. I finally got that one clear. Some people doubted that, and thus I went over the recording again. Sorry for the misinformation. We later found out that they had just come up with a number and would just see how it would end up. Little Love Tap Uncle's broken cheekbone was not even broken, just severely bruised. The grapevine is not always reliable. Also, we had some harassment from family members after the virtual visit. Okay, so now on to the update. I don't know all the details of the court cases as I could not be present. Not COVID, but other health-related issues. Let me say that first. Also, due to COVID, most of the conversations were through online meetings. Little Love Tap Uncle was charged for trespassing, assaulting, and threatening to cause bodily harm, and he pled guilty. His lawyer said that he's been following anger management courses on his own, and reports from the therapist and another court-ordered psychologist confirm what we thought. That this is not like him, and he regrets everything he's done. Judge gave Little Love Tap a very hard time for what lawyer told me. Judge did not take kindly that a man would hit a woman. Little Love Tap Uncle was asked some tough questions by the judge. The main was why he did it. Well, now it gets juicy. It seems that Blabbermouth threw plane loads of kerosene on the fire that before her calls and texts did not even exist. You see, the family did not know that we had money, as we've asked those who did keep their mouths shut. That was respected. Until now. Blabbermouth called Little Love Tap Uncle and the rest of the family, telling them about the money and how we refused to share it with family. Then came the lies. Blabbermouth turned on the waterworks, telling them and other family members that I made fun of their financial situation, flaunted my wealth, and was overall mean, disrespectful, and spiteful. She played the victim to them all, accusing me of horrible things. She then continued to say that I made fun of the rest of the family for their choices of life, jobs, ambitions, and so much more. To keep a long story shorter, she pushed all the buttons and pushed them deep. The reason the rest of the visitors went crazy was again thanks to Blabbermouth, who really knows how to push people's buttons. That woman deserves an Oscar for her performance. Little Love Tap Uncle and visitors apologize for whatever that's worth. Judge asked if lawyer had some input from our side. Lawyer read a letter we wrote. Lawyer told judge that we were deeply hurt by what happened, that no ill will, harm, or disrespect was ever meant towards any of them. We chose to do with the money as we saw fit and would always have been willing to help. But having money does not mean that it should be handed out like it's dust in the wind. Lawyer also told the judge that we are very angry for their entitlement and behavior. Them showing up, and of course the slap in the face. I used to respect them a lot, but I'll not accept this behavior from anyone and ask the judge to have justice served. If that means a sentence and record, then so be it. Why would I feel any compassion for people who felt the need to attack me? Well guys, Little Love Tap Uncle was sentenced 18 months, community service, and a fine plus court cost. He also had to continue anger management courses for at least another year. An evaluation will determine whether or not something needs to be done after that. This will go on some sort of record for what I've been told. I've accepted this. The visitors were also charged for harassment and threatening a person. They pled guilty and had to pay a hefty fine along with 6 months of community service. This is something I also have accepted. Before I forget, they've already received and paid fines for breaking social distancing laws. Some other family members have received the equivalent of a cease and desist letter from lawyer after the virtual visit, since some did keep harassing us. It's been quiet ever since. Guys, this is part 1. I'll give an update soon about what happened after the court cases. What's up guys, Mr. Reddito here. So next I got coming up is part 2, update 2. And you are not going to believe what went down in the courts. I hope you're enjoying your day today guys. Click that subscribe button because part 3 of this story will be releasing tomorrow. And you will not believe what happens at the end of today's story. Alright, here's part 2, update number 2. After the court cases were arranged, a Zoom call with aunts, uncles, and cousins involved in which the whole story became clear. And not only that love tap uncle told in court, thus the part that blabbermouth played became entirely clear. Lawyer and their lawyer were present. They apologized and explained that they felt really hurt and angry that blabbermouth insisted that they went, quote, for their rightful share, as they deserved it, because of the hurtful things that I said. They were family and deserved it. That family shares. Blabbermouth told them she did it and that it worked. They also repeated the insults and horrible actions that I committed, according to Blabbermouth. They felt hyped up by her. That and greed, well, it got the best of them. They understand that this money is for us to do as we please. Our relationship's not the same and won't ever be, to be honest. They seem to understand that we're not able nor willing to forget this attack on me, my character, and to an extent my husband as well. To be sure, I have a no-contact order against them for at least a year. It also dawned on them that one breach of the order will ensure they get meet with law enforcement once again, as I don't back down. They all realized that if we were ever willing to help out financially in forms of a loan, they annihilated that chance. We've been brutally honest with each other. I was pissed. I told them that they're adults who should have known better than to jump to conclusions. I was calm and collected when family members contacted me. No, I wasn't. I let everything go. I told them to at least have the decency and soundness of mind to ask the other party or parties involved for their side of the story and listen to the side with an open mind. I tore them all a new one. I was brutal, according to husband and lawyer. I treated the family to 20 minutes of brutal honesty. Even husband and lawyer said they were impressed to the point of scared. After a lot of talking, the call ended. The relationship might not ever heal, but at least we discussed everything. I may have peace with that. If they could do this, then I don't want them as family. Lawyer thought I had learned my own lesson about not letting family off the hook easily just because they were family. However, some family members who were not involved in the visit contacted me after the virtual visit. They wanted to know how it was possible to earn/get so much money. I shared some info about investing and gave them a number for advice if they wanted it. With the number came the warning that investing has its risks. I earned a lot of money, but I also lost plenty of it on the way. They should not be investing if it'll put them in debt. They thanked me for the warning. In regards to college funds or whatever for them, we won't be doing that. Simply because we want anyone to think such things can be achieved by this behavior. I didn't really have a relationship with them, but still, you don't treat family or any other person like this. Husband still shaken that mostly generous family he knew did what they did and treated him and me the way they did. I hope he'll be alright in the long run. So, that's the part of Little Love Tap Uncle and the visitors. I wonder what the future will bring. Next update, and more family came out of the woodwork. Okay, thought I'd give a little info about the current going-ons. Cast, you know most of them. Little Love Tap Uncle, the one who slapped me. Visitors, aunts, uncles, and cousins who came and tried to persuade me to give them money. Lawyer, Blabbermouth, which is sister-in-law who could not keep her mouth shut and blabbed all kinds of things to the family. Certified loan cousin who asked and got a certified loan. He has since paid it back. There will be a lawsuit against Little Love Tap Uncle and the visitors. When date set for January at this point, let's hope it doesn't get postponed. Hubby and I have written a letter that our lawyer could read in court in the case we won't be able to be there, either in person or on a video call. Blabbermouth's role is becoming clearer but since we don't have the full picture yet, I'll update later. Little Love Tap Uncle had a minor fracture of his cheekbone, apparently. Nothing major, and he didn't need any surgery. Hubby, lawyer, and I have some good news and honest conversations about my own behavior. Lawyer is a friend I know from way back, and he says that although I'm quite the gentle soul, I can also be a strict, direct, and have a no-nonsense attitude to me. I've always been family-oriented and wanted to help others. Unfortunately, this has proved to be my downfall. Lawyer and hubby agree that I can be more nonsense and stricter when it comes to family as well. I recognize this. I tend to sweep things under the rug because family. Stupid me. Since then, I get great feedback from both of them and have sought out a therapist who says I've made improvements. Since the visit, hubby and I just have been contacted by many family members from his side, mostly to ask questions about, as they've just heard one side of the story and things were unclear to them. Some of them were understanding about the situation. They were honest that they felt left out, but as one cousin said, "To be honest, I would not have thought of you either if something like this would have happened to me." They repeated they would appreciate any gesture, but that it was not their money to decide. Unfortunately, there were some family members who came to the defense of the visitors, and what was the big deal? I had plenty of money. Just share it, you won't miss it. Oh boy, here we go again. They've been sending us daily messages, basically hello harassment charges, telling us that we were selfish people and that family should share when good luck came their way. Then one day, we received a request for a Zoom call from a cousin who had not spoken to us at all. We accepted, only to find out that it was the virtual ambush of the visit. Some family members had gathered online from their separate homes to, quote, talk to us. They got there minutes before I made it clear I wanted to say something, and here's how the conversation went. "Hey, I want to say something." "Okay." "So, you want us to share the money?" "Oh, yeah." First, I want $2,000 from each of you." That's when the people cry in outrage, loads and loads of comments, then one of them said the magical words. "Why would I give you that amount of money? Me and my partner work hard for that money, and now you just demand it? You can't do that. We all work hard for that money." Oh boy, they walked into that one, didn't they? So, I say this. So do we. What makes you think that you can make some demands and just expect us to give you a buttload of money? I'll be honest that I loved the embarrassed silence that followed. Certified loan cousin was part of it and said that when we heard about it, he called for a certified loan for the down payment of his home. He then went on about the terms of the loan and that according to the lawyer he had asked to review it, it was a good document. Strict, yes, but it's protected both sides. Hubby and I did tell them that certified loan cousin was given the loan because he asked for it nicely and agreed on a certified loan. One of them asked if we would do that again. We told them point blank that if they would want to borrow money, we would not be sure to agree because, well, here's why. Number 1, they behaved like entitled people and treated us like crap. Number 2, you don't get to treat people like this and then go kissing their butt the moment you want something. Number 3, they all have jobs. Save for it is something that is considered a luxury. Number 4, the circumstances might change, so maybe we would not be able to help. And last, if, and that's a big if, we decide to help out, we wanted the most minuscule details about what the money is needed for, and they have to agree to a certified loan. Most people back out as they don't want strings attached, or a claim made on their car, house, etc. It was very, very silent for a while. I told them that I had a good idea they wanted money because they wanted a more luxurious car or remodel the kitchen, bathroom, whatever's in their house, while it was still working and no hazard or in need of replacing. Maybe they wanted to buy that fancy item they coveted for a while or a game console for their children. Save up for it. More silence and embarrassed shifting on that part. Hubby told them to stop harassing us. We were being blamed by tearing the family apart by their own greed. Up until now, there was no problems and we all just went along fine. Now money comes into the picture and almost everyone changes into money-hungry morons. Yep, in his exact words. He became very emotional as he said that it wasn't the family he grew up with, and that he hated it to see them change so much. Then the apologies came from some of them. We then left the Zoom meeting telling them that we only wanted to hear from them if they came with an apology, and not to contact us if we just need some space. Some have texted us apologies and hubby said phone conversations with them. Others have not changed their status from money-hungry morons and keep texting us all kinds of wailing stories about how much they need and deserve the money. One cousin even texted me saying that I deserve that slap in my face. I was not blood and should therefore just bow down to the will of the family. He even told hubby to get his wife back under control and be a good family member. He keeps harassing us and made some comments that hint on me being hit again. I simply said if he had talked to little Love Tap Uncle and how his broken cheekbone felt. Those comments stopped and certified loan cousin told me he suspects that cousin did not want to meet my right fist, as cousin talked to him about it and had been hinting something along those lines. Every text I get saved, and it goes into a big ol' USB flash drive for lawyer to get started on some nice cease and desist letters, as some may know them. Little Love Tap Uncle and the visitors have stopped contacting when asked and advised to. So, that was the update to this point. On a more positive note, certified loan cousin and his girlfriend had bought their house, and when it was done, we were invited to visit it. Mask wearing and keeping distance, of course. They turned the house into a home. It was good to see the pride and joy coming from them. Next update. So guys, this is a little bit different of an update. First off, my apologies it took so long. Last post is what happened to little Love Tap Uncle and visitors and the aftermath concerning them. This is about Blabbermouth, my oh-so-lovely not sister-in-law who instigated the whole mess. Well, 2 of her kids moved out after a very bad fight with her. The eldest, who's 26, and her boyfriend already had a home waiting and just moved in. The renovations are not finished, but she said she did not care. They sleep on an air mattress in one of the bedrooms. And the rest of the house is a mess, as they still needed a lot to renovate. Second kid, who's 24, staying with his girlfriend at her parents' house where he helps with bills. Both have gone no contact with their parents after finding out what happened due to their mother. 2 of the children, 21 and 19, are mad as heck, but cannot move out but aren't speaking to her, and sleep at their friend's place a lot. The 17-year-old sides with his mother though, but he's the baby, and Blabbermouth has always spoiled him. I've read comments about how people suggested we cut Blabbermouth children completely off. No, I'm not going to do that. The 17-year-old did a Blabbermouth in regards of demanding money. I frankly said that if he wanted an education largely paid for hubby and I, he'll stop with what he's doing and meet the requirements that come with money for college. Otherwise, bye-bye money. I told him that if he starts acting and behaving like his mother, bye-bye money. ETA, yes, the money comes with requirements, very strict ones. Don't meet the requirements, the money flow stops. I'm not entirely stupid. So far, he has stopped. His siblings do tell me he's quite hilarious when he throws his temper tantrums about this. Brother-in-law and Blabbermouth also seem not amused by my standpoint in this situation. Like I care. The rest of the family also let her know what they thought. They called her, gave her a piece of their minds, and went full-blown no contact. Blabbermouth and brother-in-law are now pariahs in the family. Some cousins would help them with a paint job. Not happening. Another uncle who checks their car every year for a reduced fee told them to find another garage for help. Another cousin would renovate their roof. He gave them the money back and told them to find someone else. Mother-in-law's heartbroken, and it hurts. I don't think she ever thought her own children could and would do this and break up the family. She still has contacts with the grandkids, but her and Blabbermouth's relationship is strained. Same goes for father-in-law. Every Saturday, we would have coffee with immediate family. Mother-in-law, father-in-law, blabbermouth, and brother-in-law, and the kids if they had time. Us and other sister-in-law. We still see them, but we don't go there if we know blabbermouth will be coming too or is already there. That's meant that the times we were there and saw her coming, we just packed our stuff and dipped. Blabbermouth had been badgering hubby, me, and the children, alternating about how sorry she is and that she did not mean for this to happen, and acting like she did nothing wrong. One time she called hubby, who put the phone on speaker once as I was curious as heck, and wanted to hear how she dug herself deeper into a pile of crap. Well, she did not disappoint. I had to laugh hysterically when he spewed her crap through the phone. I told her that if she did not want it to happen, then why did she do it? Why did she tell all those lies? She just wanted money and employed the family as her minions to do her bidding, because if I paid for them, I could pay for her, right? She was silent. Lawyer is looking for any legal actions that can be taken against Blabbermouth. He's been given the text from the family and from us. At this point, slander, instigation for harassment, and violence, and harassment itself are one of the ones he's collecting evidence for. Guys, he digs deep. He wants everything so he can throw it at her. He's even contacted the family to see if they're willing to hand over text messages voluntarily. And to be honest with you, most of them did. Blabbermouth has been blocked from both of our phones, emails, social medias, heck, you name it, after the last phone call. After she found out that she's been blocked, she came to our home to try and sweet-talk her way out of it, but brother-in-law also came. They even came together on times they knew that husband would be out and tried to intimidate sweet-talk me. My answer was to call the police. Next, Blabbermouth tried to slander us to people in her hometown. Unfortunately for her, that backfired, and she got the stink eye from a lot of people in town. Then she did something that scared us a bit. One day a week, my mother-in-law picks up the youngest kids from school. They go with her, have a snack, are later joined by the eldest who goes to secondary school. They do their homework there, and then they either eat there, we all eat there, or we take them home for dinner. Mother-in-law is always early, but due to a doctor's appointment, she and father-in-law ran late. Blabbermouth was sitting there waiting for the school of her youngest kids. Why? We don't know. The kids thankfully saw her and stayed inside the school. Eldest son had finished school early and had decided to go to his siblings' school to go with them and mother-in-law. He saw his aunt and walked inside the school to wait for mother-in-law with his siblings. Blabbermouth left shortly after they didn't come out. School was brought up to date on the situation and promised to call the police immediately if she was spotted again. In the meantime, we're waiting for an approval for a no-contact order against her and brother-in-law. We've also moved to a different place. Initially, we did not want to, but due to what's been happening, we thought it might be the best thing to do. Other people heard what happened and were very friendly all of a sudden. In the town where my brother lives, there's a nice place. The house is similar to ours. Our kids also know kids their age at the school, so it's not a problem in that regard. They start there in September. Eldest can go to school still, and there's a good bus connection with a short bus ride. A good thing is that my brother lives on a 2-minute walk from our house, and the neighbors are also very nice and welcoming. My parents have moved to a smaller home close by, and no, we did not pay for it. My parents were adamant we could not. The only thing we paid for was the rent of a moving truck, and a good insurance for us mommy dearest was frothing at the mouth because we paid for it. She doesn't want that. When hubby and I were working, they came around sometimes to keep an eye on the house. We don't mind, they've never done anything to cause mistrust. We're looking at how we can protect ourselves further. Hubby, lawyer, and I are looking at the legal things concerning this. Our house also has some security measures, like cameras with audio and video. They record and images are just stored. At this point, things are calming down. We're still close with hubby's other sister, my brother, and other family members who want no part of this mess. It's been 2 years since my twin brother cut off his engagement. Some of his friends still talk about it, and sometimes I know he thinks about what would have been if he'd married her anyways. But then, cutting off the engagement was the best decision for him. Monica has been a friend to me long before she even met my twin brother. We met in college, and even after graduation, my first job was also the same company she worked at. One of the major reasons why I left my first job was because of her, and now thinking about it, I regretted not permanently keeping her away from my life after I left workplace. Monica is quite cunning, but then I excused it for no one's actually perfect. After each monthly paycheck, she would spend her money lavishly, and then less than 2 weeks later would beg me to borrow some money just to last for the month. The first month she did it, I gladly borrowed her this cash, but by the end of the second, even after both getting paid another paycheck, she did not return back the money. Her excuse was that she has not been able to meet her bills and that she would pay me back soon enough. I cared so much about Monica, so I didn't exactly mind. I kept borrowing her cash almost every month, and she kept on making empty promises. After a while, I began to just give her part of my paycheck without even borrowing money anymore, because I know she would not return it. I got fed up and left the workplace. I felt it was better to just leave than get involved in any sort of drama with her. That aside, I was avoiding her because she had begun to make moves on me that were unappreciated. Whenever I and Monica were in a room alone, she would try to seduce me. I had a girlfriend at the time, and so was bent on staying loyal. Monica knew, yet she still tried her best to get me to lay with her. My then girlfriend, who knew about Monica, had already begun to complain about our closeness. It was a decision to either keep my relationship or stay away from Monica completely. Leaving my workplace hardly even had any effects on me because I'd already had another job offer, somewhere else waiting for me, and I jumped on it immediately. Several months passed, and I did not hear any word from Monica. It wasn't like I cared, though. At least I was glad she wasn't taking part of my paycheck or trying to seduce me. However, something unfortunate happened. I lost my second job due to some misunderstandings at my workplace. Something that wasn't even my fault. Few weeks after losing my job, Monica reached out to me and then we got to talking. I told her about how I lost my job. Somehow, Monica knew that the reason I left my first place of work was because of her. I didn't tell her, but it was pretty evident that she knew. She then told me about how she had a particular friend that was heading an organization and that he would need my skills. She promised to talk with him and I thanked her. I was quite surprised that she was helping me because the Monica I knew was quite cunning. However, it did not take long for me to understand that she was rendering that favor because she really had feelings for me. I couldn't be with her because she wasn't the type of woman I date. Even though she is really beautiful, apart from that, I was still in a relationship with somebody else. For several weeks, I remained jobless because Monica promised to talk to someone about getting me a job, but she never did. She kept requesting that we saw each other, and one time I finally agreed. She tried to make a move on me. I resisted, of course, and she got quite mad. As a result of this, she did not speak to her manager friend about me getting a job. I was heartbroken, but then I strived to get a job on my own. I finally did find a job that turns out it was the same company that Monica wanted to help me get a job, but then she didn't. The manager also got to know that Monica was someone I already knew. A week into my job, Monica found out I already got the job there, and she claimed that the only reason I was accepted was because she talked to the manager about me. Well, that was obviously a miscalculated lie because it wasn't until after I got the job that the manager found out that I was indeed friends with Monica. I walked into the company myself without Monica's recommendation. There was this sort of party that one of my friends was hosting. The friend was also friends with Monica, so obviously she was going to be there. It was night party, but then I decided not to go alone. I have a twin brother, so I took my twin brother along with me. We're really identical, and even on that day, we had identical clothing on by accident. All these years, I've never told Monica that I had a twin brother because we weren't that close to the extent that I'd actually think it's necessary to tell her intimate details. My brother lives in a completely different world of his own, and it was only once in a while we would get to meet each other, even though we are twins. I wanted to spend some time with my twin brother, so I felt taking him to the party with me would be a good start. I saw Monica, but then she did not see me and tried to avoid her throughout the night. I also left my brother on his own just to socialize with folks at the party. Unknowingly to me, he'd already met Monica, and so she's flirted with him thinking he was me. My brother, well, I guess he found her attractive and so reciprocated the feelings. They did not even exchange names before they began to flirt at the party, and it wasn't until some few hours later before she actually realized that she was flirting with my twin. However, they already shared some sort of connection with each other, and so after the party, they kept up with each other. I got to realize months later that they got into a relationship. Of course, I was happy for them. Why wouldn't I be? About a year later, my twin brother announced to the family that he's getting married to Monica. Honestly, I didn't even know that they were going to last together. Monica's lifestyle seemed so different from that of my brother. But then, who was I to get involved? It was during the time of the wedding announcement that I begun to see more and more of Monica. She would drop by our family house every now and then. She would also call me, telling about how she was so excited that we were going to be in-laws. Since Monica was going to be my in-law, I felt there was no reason to be stiff with her anymore, so I loosened up. She would drop by my apartment just to greet me, but then I noticed that she was in some ways still flirting with me. I really didn't know what her game was, because I felt for her to be engaged with my brother, then she must be completely in love with me. Or maybe she wasn't really in love with my brother as she was with me. Maybe she just decided to settle with him because he reminded her so much of me. I really didn't know what her deal was. But then I was pretty sure that she was obsessed with me. The last time I willingly let her into my apartment was when she really crossed her boundaries. She confessed to me. She confessed to me standing there in my apartment that the only reason why my brother had her was because I refused to yield to her. She told me that we still got a chance if I was willing to take it. However, I would not betray my twin brother, so I sent her packing out that apartment door. The date for my brother's wedding was becoming closer and closer. My brother, or our family, did not really have much, and because of this, we decided on a small wedding for him. However, during that time, I got a promotion at work, and this increased my paycheck almost double. I also got some unexpected but quite huge amount of money. But then I was making plans to use that money to pay for my dad's surgery, because he had been ill for a while. Apart from that, the change from the money would use to be sponsored a side business I just started, a little hustle. Of course I was going to contribute to my brother's small wedding, but then it wasn't so much because that was what I could afford for the wedding. News travels quite fast because within a week of getting the promotion, Monica called just to congratulate me. The only person I informed about it was my brother, and I probably made a really big mistake by doing that, because how could I have expected him not to inform his fiancé about it? Monica had been bragging about having a really big wedding, and even though my brother already told her that he could not afford a large wedding, she still just kept insisting on it. Monica called me not too long again just to tell me that since I got the promotion, then surely she could have a bigger wedding. I told her, hey, that's not possible because I had the other priorities to solve with my money, but she told me about how her wedding was a one-time thing and that I could deal with priorities anytime. When I told her that it's not going to work, she then revealed to me that she's had some findings, and she was informed that the company gave me a large sum of money recently. I told her that the money was for my dad's surgery and a side business. But then she said that my father had been sick for a while and can still hold on for a little while longer, and that I can still do without my small business for some time. I caught the phone on her because I was so irritated by the way that she felt entitled to my money. I wanted to inform my brother about it, but I didn't want to be the reason why they had an argument. Just a few weeks leading up to their wedding, I decided to let it go and then made up an excuse for Monica. After all, she's already been so cunning and entitled and would probably not stop for a long time. Well, about 3 weeks to the wedding, my brother called me saying that Monica wishes to bond more with her in-laws by inviting them to dinner. I was included, of course. I had to oblige for the sake of my brother. I got there, and then my parents were also there, along with her younger sister and mother. It was a cheerful sight because the in-laws were able to familiarize more with each other, and they even thanked Monica for making such a sensible move to host a dinner. They thought it was a sensible move, but turns out it was a calculative, motive-driven move. Lasted halfway into dinner, Monica reminded everyone how she mentioned wanting to have a big wedding. She then said that she understood how my brother did not have so much, but that she was glad that I could afford the wedding fees. Everyone smiled, looking at me as if it were true. I had to tell everyone at the table of my intentions to use the money with something bigger. She then said one sentence that made me so annoyed. I got your current job for you, and you choose to repay me back with your ungratefulness. Everyone stopped, staring at me hard, especially my brother. I never actually told them about how I got my current job. My twin brother asked me if it was true, but obviously it wasn't, so I said no. I told him that she volunteered to help me get a job, and at the same company, but they eventually bailed out. I told him of how I got the job all on my own, but Monica kept insisting at the table that it was her efforts that got me the job. Well, she then said that I would have been fired a very long time ago and possibly never gotten the promotion if it wasn't for her influence. I could see the look on my brother's face because I never actually told him that Monica was friends with my manager, and neither did I tell him of our past closeness. After dinner, everyone stayed back a bit. I walked up to my brother just to explain the whole situation to him, but he seemed a bit hostile. He then asked me if Monica and I have used or have ever had an affair in the past, because it seemed so, but then I assured him that I had no affair with his fiancée, and when I mentioned that she was even the one pushing herself on me, he got so angry that I had to leave the scene immediately before he smashed something. Well, me and my brother stopped talking for a while after that day, because he believed that Monica and I both had something we were hiding. That dinner was so awkward. Monica did call me the next day over the phone, and she said that if I did not give her the money she needed for the wedding, then she would have to call my boss and tell him to fire me. I couldn't believe she would do something like that, but then she seemed to mean it. That night, I weighed the money in my hand, but I still couldn't drop such large funds for a wedding because it's already been budgeted for something else. Well, she didn't stop. She kept calling and calling me every now and then to demand for the money, and it wasn't until my boss called, saying someone laid a complaint about my input in my first job, until I believed Monica had actually spoken to my boss. She told my boss that once we were in the same company, and the only reason why they sent me packing was because of some money I stole. My boss didn't fire me, but then put me on a suspension. A week before the wedding, my brother called me saying he was ready to hear my side of the story. He came to my house and we talked about it. He told me that after that dinner, he noticed that his wife kept insisting on such a large wedding. He then said that even after he told her of my plans to pay for our dad's surgery, she said that that surgery could wait. It was after the dinner that my brother began to realize that marrying Monica might not be the right choice after all. She was a liar, manipulator, and would go through almost any lengths to get whatever she wanted. I even told my brother about how she told my boss to fire me. He got so angry because he knew I needed that job and promotion so badly. My brother, who was the one who encouraged me to get a set business, so he could get mad when I told him that Monica wanted me to keep the business on hold so I could give her money for a useless, bigger wedding. My twin brother even said that Monica was planning to uninvite me from the wedding, and I would not give her money for it. Few days before the wedding now, and my brother finally found the courage to cancel the whole wedding and break up with Monica because he felt that she prioritized material things over anything that really matters. She didn't care about the well-being of his family, neither did she care about his opinions. Monica called me right after the breakup saying that she would make sure I lost my job and would keep implicating me in every other job I got. However, my manager probably wasn't a manager for no reason. He was smart. He had already sent a letter to my previous company, and they confirmed that I left on my own terms happily. Even the second company I worked for just for a few months, my boss inquired about me there and confirmed that me leaving was just a misunderstanding. Currently, I've cut every form of ties with Monica. So has my brother. I kinda feel bad for making my brother meet her, though. If only I had not gone to that party and dragged my brother with me, then probably none of this would have ever happened. Also, even after they met, I should have warned my brother about her, but I never did. I do blame myself, but hey, there's a lesson to be learned right here. Okay, so I'll say, in my opinion, the worst part about Monica, for me, is the fact that she was basically just completely ignoring the issue that OP's father was seriously ill, and he needed a large portion of that money for the surgery. Anybody who will just say, no, he can wait, we need that money for my wedding, I think that's very selfish, entitled, and just downright toxic. But let me know your thoughts on this one, guys. Drop your opinions down below. If you don't agree with me, that's totally okay. Just tell me your thoughts and why you disagree, and let's go ahead and turn our attention to the next story of the day. Here's the title. Am I the a-hole for calling my brother's girlfriend a gold digger after she Googled the cost of all our Christmas gifts? Yeah, super weird. My brother James has a girlfriend, Lindsay, who he's been dating for 7 months. He decided to bring her to Christmas at my house, stay over Christmas Eve, and leave the next day after lunch. I'd met Lindsay at drinks before this, and she seemed really nice. When they arrived, Lindsay walked in and complimented my decorations, large tree in the foyer, and asked how much it cost. I was a bit surprised by the question, but I just said more than I'd like and moved on. Throughout the evening, she asked several questions centered around money. She asked my husband how much he paid for our house, my stepdad how much money he made in his previous job, how much my watch cost. She even Googled one of our art pieces to see how much it sold for, and started talking about how crazy it was that we spent that much, which frankly was very uncomfortable. My stepdad pulled my brother aside and asked if there was a problem, but my brother just said it's normal for her to do that, but he did say he'd speak to her. On Christmas morning, we all gathered around to open presents, and thankfully Lindsay did not say anything upward. So I figured James had spoken to her about her intrusive questions. However, at lunch, we were talking about plans for January, and Lindsay loudly said she did not know how we could afford to do anything in January, as she added up the total we spent on gifts, and then proudly proclaimed the total amount. The whole table went eerily silent. Crickets. And honestly, I was equal parts shocked and annoyed that someone could be so ignorant. I looked at Lindsay and said, You know, you're the world's most diligent gold digger. Seriously, would you be the family accountant since you're already tracking expenses? Lindsay stuttered out an apology and tried to explain, but stepdad just changed the conversation and we moved on. She was mercifully quiet for the rest of dinner. After they left, my brother messaged me saying I'd really upset Lindsay and was completely out of line with what I said. I argued that he had said he'd talk to her and he clearly didn't. Not that someone should need guidance to know how crass her comments were. He's saying I owe both of them an apology, but I think Lindsay's behavior was disgraceful. My parents say Lindsay was wrong, but I probably should have just ignored it or said something in private. Or they could have. I shouldn't have said something in front of everyone. So guys, am I the a-hole for this situation? So there's a controversial comment. A lot of people do agree with it, a lot of people don't agree with it, but let's read it. All of these everyone sucks here and you are the a-hole. These replies are dumbfounding, LOL. Have any of you people ever had an interaction with an actual human being? In what world is asking people how much money they make and adding up the totals of Christmas gifts normal? Not the a-hole! She was being incredibly rude and obviously making everyone uncomfortable. Okay, so that's a big one. Let me know your thoughts on that. I would have to agree. I think it was completely rude. Not really for the price of the gift. Who knows, but definitely for asking how much you make at your job. That's just a rude question to ask someone. In my opinion, especially when you don't know the person that well and you're trying to fit in with a new family. But let me know your thoughts, guys, and how you would have handled this situation differently. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And guys, have an amazing day. I'll see you in the next one.